Hey there, and welcome to Ode to a Mockingbird, a sleep podcast where you'll hear cherished classics served up with laid-back Southern charm. I'm your host, Jake Phillips, and I'm looking forward to spending the next few minutes together. Now sit back and relax. Hey, glad you dropped by. In this episode, we're going to read some Emily Dickinson. Now, she didn't put titles to all of her poems, so for some of these, we'll just wade right in. So sit back and relax, and let's hear what Emily has to say. Success. Success is counted sweetest by those who ne'er succeed. To comprehend a nectar requires sorest need. Not one of all the purple host who took the flag today can tell the definition so clear of victory as he defeated, dying, on whose forbidden ear the distant strains of triumph break, agonized and clear. Our share of night to bear. Our share of night to bear, our share of morning, our blank in bliss to fill, our blank in scorning. Here a star, and there a star. Some lose their way. Here a mist, and there a mist. Afterwards, day. If I can stop one heart from breaking. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. Almost. Within my reach, I could have touched. I might have chanced that way. Soft sauntered through the village, sauntered as soft away. So unsuspected violets within the fields lie low, too late for striving fingers that passed an hour ago. The heart asks pleasure first. The heart asks pleasure first, and then excuse from pain. And then those little anodynes that deaden suffering. And then to go to sleep. And then, if it should be the will of its inquisitor, the liberty to die. In a library, a precious, moldering pleasure 'tis to meet an antique book in just the dress his century wore. A privilege, I think. His venerable hand to take, and warming in our own a passage back or two to make to times when he was young. His quaint opinions to inspect, his knowledge to unfold on what concerns our mutual mind, the literature of old. What interested scholars most, what competitions ran, when Plato was a certainty and Sophocles a man, when Sappho was a living girl and Beatrice wore the gown that Dante deified. Facts. Centuries before, he traverses familiar as one should come to town and tell you all your dreams were true. He lived where dreams were sown. His presence is enchantment. You beg him not to go. Old volumes shake their vellum heads and tantalize just so. Much madness is divinest sense. Much madness is divinest sense to a discerning eye. Much sense the starkest madness, 'tis the majority. In this, as all prevails, assent, and you're sane. Demur, you're straightway dangerous, and handled with a chain. I ask no other thing. I ask no other thing, no other was denied. I offered being for it, the mighty merchant smiled. Brazil? He twirled a button without a glance my way. But madam, there is nothing else that we can show today. Exclusion. The soul selects her own society, then shuts the door. On her divine majority, obtrude no more. Unmoved, she notes the chariots pausing at her low gate. Unmoved, an emperor is kneeling upon her mat. I've known her from an ample nation. Choose one, then close the valves of her attention like stone. The secret. Some things that fly there be, birds, ours, the bumblebee. Of these, no elegy. Some things that stay there be, grief, hills, eternity, nor this behooveth me. There are that resting rise. Can I expound the skies? How still the riddle lies. To fight aloud is very brave. To fight aloud is very brave. But gallanter I know, who charge within the bosom the cavalry of woe, who win and nations do not see, who fall and none observe, whose dying eyes no country regards with patriot love. We trust in plumed procession, for such the angels go, rank after rank, with even feet, in uniforms of snow. Dawn. When night is almost done and sunrise grows so near that we can touch the spaces, it's time to smooth the hair and get the dimples ready and wonder we could care for that old faded midnight that frightened but an hour. The mystery of pain. Pain has an element of blank. It cannot recollect when it began, or if there were a day when it was not. It has no future but itself. Its infinite realms contain its past, enlightened to perceive new periods of pain. A book. He ate and drank the precious words. His spirit grew robust. He knew no more that he was poor, nor that his frame was dust. He danced along the dingy days, and this bequest of wings was but a book. What liberty a loosened spirit brings. I had no time to hate. I had no time to hate because the grave would hinder me, and life was not so ample I could finish enmity. Nor had I time to love, but since some industry must be, the little toil of love, I thought, was large enough for me. Unreturning. 'Twas such a little boat that toddled down the bay. 'Twas such a gallant sea that beckoned it away. 'Twas such a greedy wave that licked it from the coast. Nor ever guessed the stately sails, my little craft was lost. Whether my bark went down at sea. Whether my bark went down at sea, whether she met with gales, whether to isles enchanted she bent her docile sails, by what mystic mooring she's held today, this is the errand of the eye out upon the bay. Belshazzar had a letter. Belshazzar had a letter. He never had but one. Belshazzar's correspondent concluded and begun. In that one immortal copy, the conscience of us all can read without its glasses on Revelation's wall. The brain within its groove. The brain within its groove runs evenly and true, but let a splinter swerve, 'twere easier for you to put the water back when floods have slit the hills and scooped a turnpike for themselves and blotted out the mills. Elysium is as far as to the very nearest room, if in that room a friend await felicity or doom. What fortitude the soul contains that it can so endure the accent of a coming foot, the opening of a door. Surrender. Doubt me, my dim companion. Why, God would be content with but a fraction of the love poured thee without a stint. The whole of me forever. What more the woman can? Say quick that I may dower thee with last delight I own. It cannot be my spirit, for that was thine before. I seeded all of dust I knew. What opulence the more had I, a humble maiden, whose farthest degree was that she might some distant heaven dwell timidly with thee. If you were coming in the fall, if you were coming in the fall, I'd brush the summer by with half a smile and half a spurn, as housewives do a fly. If I could see you in a year, I'd wind the months in balls, put them each in separate drawers until their time befalls. If only centuries delayed, I'd count them on my hand, subtracting till my fingers dropped into Van Diemen's land. If certain, when this life was out, that yours and mine should be, I'd toss it yonder like a rind and taste eternity. But now, all ignorant of the length of time's uncertain wing, it goads me like the goblin bee that will not state its sting. With a flower. I hide myself within my flower, that wearing upon your breast, you unsuspect and wear me too, and angels know the rest. I hide myself within my flower, that fading from your vase, you unsuspect and feel for me almost a loneliness. The outlet. My river runs to thee. Blue sea wilt welcome me. My river waits reply. O sea, look graciously. I'll fetch thee brooks from spotted nooks. Say, sea, take me. In vain. I cannot live with you. It would be life. And life is over there behind the shelf. The sexton keeps the key too, putting up our life, his porcelain like a cup, discarded of the housewife, quaint or broken. The newer severs pleases, old ones crack. I could not die with you, for one must wait to shut the other's gaze down. You could not. And could I stand by and see you freeze without my right of frost, death's privilege? Nor could I rise with you because your face would put out Jesus, that new grace, glow plain and foreign on my homesick eye, except that you, than he, shone closer by. They'd judge us. How? For you served heaven, you know, or sought to. I could not, because you saturated sight, and I had no more eyes for sordid excellence as paradise. And were you lost, I would be, though my name rang loudest on the heavenly fame. And were I saved, and I condemned to be where you were not, that self were hell to me. So we must keep apart, you there, I here, with just the door ajar that oceans are, and prayer, and that pale sustenance, despair. New feet within my garden go. New feet within my garden go. New fingers stir the sod. A troubadour upon the elm betrays the solitude. New children play upon the green. New weary sleep below, and still the pensive spring returns, and still the punctual snow. Mayflower. Pink, small, and punctual, aromatic, low, covert in April, candid in May, dear to the moss, known by the knoll, next to the robin in every human soul. Bold little beauty, bedecked with thee, nature forswears antiquity. The pedigree of honey. The pedigree of honey does not concern the bee. A clover, any time, to him is aristocracy. The bee is not afraid of me. The bee is not afraid of me. I know the butterfly. The pretty people in the woods receive me cordially. The brooks laugh louder when I come. The breezes madder play. Wherefore mine eyes thy silver mists? Wherefore, O summer's day? You've been listening to Ode to a Mockingbird, a Sleep Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Phillips, and it's been a real privilege to be able to spend some time with you. Please do subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend if you're willing and able. And I look forward to meeting up with you again real soon. Until next time.